What's up, guys? Chris Fluck Podcast, episode 28. Man, Frank just put on some liniment gel, I think.
Yeah.
That is. My eyes are burning.
It was a bad idea. It smells bad and my eyes are messed up.
It's made for horses, but yet.
Topical, analgesic, sore muscle and joint pain relief, bro.
But your strength levels are comparable to a horse, a
Yeah,
full-size horse.
I got a lot of horsepower for
good.
sure, bro.
All right, man, how do you want to start this bad boy? We're talking about aliens, football, Berkeley
Strength
box
training
jumps,
programs,
strength
Berkeley
training.
box jumps. Well, let's go with aliens first, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of new alien info out there. I didn't catch it,
We
though.
watched
What was
Joe
LJ?
Rogan podcast.
What was
Nah,
LJ?
he just said he went down a wormhole afterwards and started watching more things about aliens, I guess. There's a lot of stuff out there.
It's a slippery slope, for sure.
I mean, who Dan Aykroyd, you listen to that one yet? He's super on
like a
board
month
with
behind.
aliens.
You know, we were talking about
Yeah,
the...
you don't JRE or JRE
well, no, I
kick
started
again,
listening
bro.
to stories. I just listened... Remember we were talking about the greatest athlete?
Ever?
Yeah. No, just in general. Where
Jim
are they?
Thorpe.
No, where are the best athletes? Remember the last podcast?
Oh, yeah. Like,
And then we're talking
country
about the
stuff.
decathlon. So I listened to this ESPN thing just randomly. It was like a week after Dan and Dave Reebok did this campaign in 1992. And I'm like, it was the same dude that did the Scream movies. Remember that voice? Like,
Oh, yeah.
so it sounded like the same guy. He was like, who's going to be the best athlete in Barcelona? And anyway, 1992, they go to qualify. Dan O'Brien doesn't even make the team. He failed all 3 attempts on the pole vault. He was setting world records and just totally mentally tanked. Dave Johnson then took third because he had a broken foot. The doctors were like, don't even compete. But he was like, anyway, Reebok during the Super Bowl, they just put ads and ads and ads in for these 2 guys. One of them didn't make the team and the other one didn't even win. But they've reframed it where Dan became an announcer for the Olympics. And then they did the commercials. They had like 10 commercials in the bank before Dan failed to qualify. So they had to like reboot the whole thing. And like Dan O'Brien was there cheering him on and coaching him.
That's wild.
Yeah. But in 96, though, Dan O'Brien won the gold in the USA in Georgia. No,
America.
where was that Olympics?
96 was in Georgia, wasn't it? Atlanta?
Yeah, it was. Yep, that was it. So he did win in 96 and he came back, but he had like this huge mental lapse. But anyway, Reebok was saying the greatest athlete in the world. They were saying the decathlete was. I thought it was interesting based off of what we were talking about. We're talking...
You think he's listening to Dirty South rap while he's winning that thing?
Yeah, absolutely. 100, 200, 400. They do 5 events one day, 5 events the next day. What did I just say? 1, 2, and 4.
And then hurdles?
This is not day 1. This is just what I'm trying to remember.
Oh, in general.
110 hurdles, I remember, kicked off the second day. I think the 8th event was the pole vault. Then it went javelin. Then it was a 1,500 meter. Then in between, I think they had long jump. I don't know if they did the high jump.
They do 2
And I
jumps, though?
don't
Was
know.
there a triple?
Maybe that.
Triple jump?
Because they talked about the psychological aspect of getting over the pole, but they didn't talk about that issue at all with the high jump. So I don't know if they did it or these guys were just good at
Or
it.
just a
But
different animal?
yeah. But then some of the dudes like that Dave Johnson dude would dominate the second day. So he would suck day 1, but then he was like throwing the javelin like a champ. O'Brien wouldn't have won the Olympics. He went over and he saw Dave in the crowd. So everybody in the crowd had Dan or Dave shirts on at the Olympic trials that he failed. Like it was like a total shit show. Cameras in their face all the time. And it totally psyched him out, I think. But he threw 2 terrible javelins and he was pretty much not looking too good if he didn't place well in that. And he went over and asked Dave, like, hey, which javelin should I use? Because Dave just crushed it and was like the world record holder in the decathlete, I think, javelin toss. He's like, pick that one. Dan O'Brien chucked it and ended up beating the other dude.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's like, those 2 guys were like intertwined.
So you should own part of that gold medal, bro.
I think
that's
they,
coaching
I
right
think
there,
he was just
baby.
happy. It was. He,
It's good coaching.
He knew, man.
It's like a caddy.
They had 40 options
Take
for
out the
javelins.
3 wood.
40 options. Don't you think the guys would know what the hell to throw? Like, which one was his favorite one, do you know?
But based on like what then?
Oh, it's the wind and all that.
Wind.
Side-to-side stuff coming straight on. And
I was
that's
gonna
where
say air,
O'Brien
like,
was struggling. And Dave
air
Johnson
pressure.
was like, just had more experience and was like, you got to go with this one. Yeah, I think he was just having trouble throwing in the conditions. Anyhow.
Kind of sucked to carry 40 javelins in there.
He wasn't, I'll tell you that.
He's got guys for that?
I don't know. Probably. They had Jackie Jordan Kersey on
kind
there,
of
you
a
know
big
her?
deal.
She still has
She got
records.
popped though, didn't she?
Does it matter?
Don't they take her records when she fails a drug test?
You're going to have to look it up.
We'll have
I
to
don't
look it
know.
up then.
What
It's
do you
not a
got?
big
Get
deal
something
right
going
now,
here. I'm looking. I don't think she got popped. You think I don't
Joyce
know. Flojo.
Flojo got popped?
I don't know. There's Jackie Joyner Kirsten and FloJo. I think they were like sister-in-laws.
All right.
I think one of them married. Wait, Florence. Yeah, whatever. Who knows?
Whatever.
All right.
You want to talk about biggest mistakes people make going to the gym as newbies?
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, what do you know? You've been in
got?
LA Fitness for long too. Give me some
Mistakes that people make.
Yeah, like why don't they see success, or why is their path so long?
For somebody that just joins a gym,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think they got it backwards in the sense of thinking like just the exercise part is going to kind of be the life's
Instead of like
saver.
actually eating well and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I meant more general based on
What they
strength
do,
and conditioning and what they're actually doing.
like
in
what
the
they're
gym.
doing in the gym. Probably doing like a bodybuilding type routine and like trying to hit some of those muscles and make them look good instead of like making them feel better.
Instead of like
move
training
better.
movements and stuff.
Yeah, probably, right?
Yeah.
Wow, what do you got?
I think that's part of it. Exercise selection is definitely up there. I think.
Like machine-based stuff's probably not ideal for the long haul.
No, because like you just can't progress with it long term.
Yeah.
And I think people get too crazy too early. Like muscle
too much
confusion
too
and stuff
soon?
like Tony
Yeah.
Gordon, that kind of stuff. I think everybody thinks they need to like go from 0 to 210 like a Ferrari too, which I think is stupid.
No, like
And some people
that
just
come
don't
in-
smash free weights.
People
That's
that-
why they're machines though. They're intimidated, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get intimidated to go to the gym.
Somebody said that this place wasn't intimidating, but it
Was or
was
wasn't?
not compared to another gym.
That's good
thought
for
it would've
us.
been
I thought
backwards.
this is definitely intimidating to come in
Yeah.
here.
It's like sleds and 150-pound stones in the front.
I got yeah. You talk about stones?
No, because we have to talk about
People's
people
quality
that do
over
work out
quantity,
the
too.
first time ever and like say maybe their whole life. They'll get like you'll just need to do like one set of everything and that's probably enough.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes is probably enough. The
Quality
first
over
day.
quantity, right?
But then they sign up for
That's
30
what I think one of
minutes.
the biggest mistakes is too.
Like they got a 30-minute session, or even say they want to dive in and do like 60 minutes or something. It's like you're just like you're in the moment they might feel fun, but they're gonna be like
Crushed.
if they work out for an hour.
And that's what we were talking about with kids the other day too, is that like the training association. Like even with adults, you want to try to build a positive training association so you stay consistent and keep coming.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're just getting crushed and can't go to the bathroom and walk up steps and get
Yeah.
rhabdomyolysis and have to go to the hospital and your kidneys stop functioning and you
So your relationship with exercise after that is probably going to be negative.
negative, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas it should, I mean, I think you should have, most successful people have a positive association with exercise.
Yeah. No, that's kind of the key, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody wants to.
Like you wanna have-
Oh man, we didn't even talk about this, but I've been having. I think I'm going anti-goals.
Anti-goals?
Yeah, because.
So I shouldn't
like,
try to hit 1,000 pulls this month?
No, you should, because it gives you aim in like your training, but like
I just like fun challenges.
the making or break. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Instead of like, then what? Like, what happens if you do that? Do you do 1,100, or you just say, cool, I did 1,000? Like for me, I'm just doing 1,000.
A month.
Yeah.
But I told you it was stupid.
Just because it gives me a guide to like. How to
But if
handle
you
my
break down
training.
sets or something, like shouldn't you be progressing? Like should you did them all on fives?
But what if they get easier?
Did you do them all on fives?
Yeah. What if I get better at them?
But did you get better at them because you took more time in between sets, or are you timing rest
I'm
intervals?
stronger.
Get yoked, bro.
Because I'm getting better.
Straight yoked. Well, I mean, you're gonna if you're moving better through those sets of five, you're getting stronger for sure.
Yeah.
That's like if you
But what if I could get through?
deadlifted 500 pounds
So
and then
here's
you
the
deadlifted
thing.
500 again, but it was easy. Like you're stronger.
Instead of completing your 1,000th one on the last day of the month, say, what if you get it done with 6 days to spare?
Then you're better.
Right.
That's
And then,
progression.
like you could do 75.
Or you could
a
do
day.
less sets, or you could do all kinds of stuff.
Like before, I might have done 2 or 3 days in a row. I don't even know if I did 3 days of 75 reps, and it was like, just didn't feel good on my hands and all that. But maybe to be able to put a couple days of 75 in, 4 days straight, 300 reps.
Would also be progression, right?
Yeah.
That's what
So,
I just,
like,
I
that's
just don't
kinda
think it
what
should
I'm
be the same
working
all the time, you know? I think in some way you should be trying to get better.
Yeah. But what about the goals that people don't accomplish, and then they're all like heartbroken about it?
So it hurt.
Creates that negative relationship too, again with fitness and whatever. Where like the focus should be to just try to become an overall better, healthier
Yeah, but
person.
sometimes if you don't fail, you don't succeed either. Like you have to be able to fail.
Yes. Also,
Like maybe
agree
you
with
set a
that.
bad goal. Maybe it wasn't a smart goal.
Maybe it was a shitty goal. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe they just bit off more than they could
Like,
chew.
hey, I'm gonna lose
Or maybe they don't have
70.
the self-discipline to do it. I mean, it could be all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, if
what happened
if
if
you're
you're a high
setting a
school
goal
kid
for a
and you're
70-pound weight loss,
Hey, I'm gonna run now. I was talking to a parent yesterday. Her daughter runs cross country and like maybe wants to break 24 minutes or get under 25 minutes in a 5K, 8-minute miles and some change. Then I'm like, so then what? Then you just say, well, I'm gonna get under 23 next year or something? Like, is that just how it goes?
Yeah, I think so.
But then what? Like, what happens if you can't?
Get there?
Yeah. Then do you feel shitty?
Yeah, but who cares? You should feel shitty. You didn't get there. And you probably didn't work hard enough to get there. You think it's an impossible task? Or you think people just don't put in the work?
Well, yeah, eventually it becomes an impossible task because you can't just keep whittling time off.
Yeah, and the further, I think, along the spectrum you get, the harder it gets to, like a millisecond in, the Olympics is huge, whereas, like, you could take off seconds in a month, maybe in high school or middle school or something.
Yeah.
Depending on, I'm just spitballing, but.
But then even with your boy, the Iceman, Zimfeld, talking
Z
about the strength.
Z Dizzy?
Talking about the strength component, like.
Like what he meant, because he's always worried about getting hurt, so he's pretty strong. So like.
Basically, with me, I want to.
But it's all independent based.
Maybe I'm just a weirdo. I just think differently. Like I have goals, say, but it's like the goal is just guiding my training for a period of time.
Yeah.
So maybe it's
so
just.
You're trying not to quantify your goal. You're just trying to have. Like you didn't quantify your actual goal. Name your goal.
Well, I want to hang clean 300.
Okay.
But you didn't put it.
But did you put a time period on that?
No.
275 looked easy compared to last time. 275 though.
No time frame.
No time frame. That might be better.
But I'm trying to get my front squat sky high. No,
That's
just the best for me. So.
Well, the higher your front squat, the easier your clean's gonna be, bro.
I think so.
So if you want to clean 300, what do you think you got a front squat? Like 365? 355?
Yeah. Because that's 315. Maybe 65 would be the goal, so you can throw the 25s on.
Just to look cooler.
Yeah. Anyway.
So we're gonna start only lifting in 45s and 25s again, like in the 90s.
Yeah.
No change allowed.
So I'm struggling with goals, though, Frank.
With clients, though, or mostly yourself?
Just in general. I don't know what to make of them, man. Don't know if they're good. Do they do more bad than good?
Why can't it be independent to the individual?
Yeah,
I bet some people are super goal oriented, and if you set good, smart goals, it's like a super driving force. Like that's the catalyst why they succeed. Whereas someone else, you would set a goal, even if it's kind of reasonable, they like aren't good at like competition / like being assertive and like going to get the goal,
Yeah.
So they almost might get them wavering more than it would actually like push them to get there. Like I don't think everybody responds the same.
Yeah, so I was gonna say like 100 people set a goal might only be good for 10 people.
Like if you set a goal, like one person might be like, "I'd rather die than not hit this goal," whereas someone else would, and they'd hit it. But
if 90% of the people say get discouraged because setting goals, whether they pass or fail, doesn't matter. No, they're like they don't make it, they're discouraged. So like, is goal setting a good idea for the population? If 90% aren't.
I mean, you're just pulling that percentage out of your ass, right?
10 people are like, yeah, I need a goal. Whether or not they pass or fail, they're like, I need a goal, or else I just won't do it.
If that was the actual percentage, I would say then it wouldn't even work.
So I guess it's not. It's just
more
like
specific to the individual.
Motivation situation too. It's like how hard did you actually try to accomplish your goal?
Well, that's why they fail. Usually, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Like.
So it's like maybe it's not the goal that's a problem. Maybe it's some sort
the effort.
The goal is not going to motivate you. Maybe that's a problem. Using a goal as motivation is probably not the best idea.
Yeah, because I mean, it just comes back to the same thing. Like, talk about it or be about it, right? Like, you can say you want to do something all day, but if you don't actually do the work necessary to accomplish that goal,
all right,
what's the point of that goal?
Trying to
90%.
Creating a thesis here. I'm throwing random thoughts off the wall.
It depends what you're quantifying too. I like strength goals. We'll talk about standards for high school athletes right after this.
Well, what about?
But like, I don't like when we used to like measure people all the time and like do body fat. I think those like it's cool to have that goal, but that goal needs to be long term too. It's stupid to do that stuff so constantly because there's so much influx within the body.
I think that is a mistake with new people working out.
It's too addiction to the scale, body fat impedance.
I think the wrong goals
and measurements.
Yeah, I think the wrong.
Like they should focus on being healthy more than they should just focus on.
Yeah, maybe like their blood pressure being better is probably a better long-term solution. Or like losing 5% of their overall body weight. It doesn't have to be like, I don't know, if you're 300 pounds and you drop 15 pounds in a couple months and keep it off, like that's good.
Yeah.
What if you do it again the next year? Then
that's the other problem is like
whittling it away.
I feel like a ton of people lose weight, but then
like
someone with 300 pounds like lost 15 pounds like. you know, high
If
five,
they lost
throw them
15
a straight high five. But like, what if then you usually? I mean, I shouldn't say usually, but I would say a good percentage gains 20 back.
If you lost 15
Because I think they did it
pounds,
wrong.
Like if that other person dropped 40 and then gained 25 of it back, it's like the guy that lost 15 and probably held it off probably has a better system in place to like for
long-term
future success. I think.
for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing too. Where it's like you got like hold the line,
Yeah.
drop some weight fast, that's fine, but then like stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some fluctuations are fine. Don't
Probably the
climb over
habits
half a pound,
instituted to lose that weight though are the ones necessary to hold that line too.
Dan John name drop situation. 2 times.
We've never talked about him.
No.
Actually. Who is this
I
man?
think he was like two times a year. Maybe you recommend going all in on like 6 to 8 week.
Like a huge goal.
Yes.
Yeah. And the other times just having fun and kind of like
Yeah.
moving with grace and.
Yeah. It's probably the right idea. He's been doing it for a while. He might actually know something.
Probably cuts down on like injury and all kinds of stuff too.
Yeah. All right, man. Is that enough?
Should we?
Mistakes? What about weightlifting mistakes? What do you think they should
So is
be
1,000 pull-ups enough for one of my goals to go all in 1 month?
Nobody's going to remember in 100 years, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
my life doesn't matter.
I'm just kidding.
Jordan Peterson just scumbags me constantly. I'm a very insignificant part of this universe, Chris.
But if somebody needs to lift weights 30 minutes a day,
Everybody needs to lift weights.
twice a week, what are you telling the new lifter to do?
As
Telling them
far
to
as-
go down and hit preacher curls and
Not a chance, dude. Learn
Yeah,
how to
pull
deadlift,
downs.
learn how to squat, learn how to do a press, and learn how to, start doing some relative maybe pull-ups or chin-ups, rack rows even.
a lot of people I've been listening
What do you
to
think about
lately, big time fans, even like high level track and field coaches of relative strength. And how important it is from like little kids all the way up.
I agree.
Like
But
being
relative
able to
strength,
get
I think,
somebody to do a split squat might be better off than 300-pound deadlift.
a split
say.
squat body weight.
To like do them really well and be able to do reps and not struggle. Like you could have say somebody that's overweight rip 300 off the ground, but struggle.
How good
with-
can you get though? I don't know. At some point, you're gonna have to add a load to it.
Yeah, and I think they do, or they just change the exercise to make it the single leg squat.
That's
more
why I get in
challenging.
arguments with this relative strength. Mary was telling me a story about this the other day. That we talked about her on here before. She went to Jersey and she's at like another gym now. But like she was deadlifting and someone was like, like this is cool, but like what about like relative strength? Like, but like everybody associates this as just being able to do chin ups and push ups and like body weight exercise. But like,
Yeah.
it also is like how much of your body weight. Like if you can deadlift double body weight, that's still relative strength.
Yeah.
Like it's still based on strength movements.
It's based off your body weight too, which
Yeah.
makes it relative, right?
Yeah.
It's like
But I'm saying it doesn't have to just be a body weight exercise.
Yeah.
I feel like people throw around relative strength and it's always like
they're probably
based
skinny
on
guys
that
that
instead
could
of
do
percentage.
they could
30
do 35 chin-ups. Yeah.
Yeah. With no legs, yeah.
Yeah. And then the great deadlifters like, hey, you guys are all the power
Because they
lifters
can
are
do
like,
3 chin-ups.
look at this guy doing.
Yeah.
Bet he can't.
Look at
deadlift.
floating up to the bar.
Bet he can't total 1,000. There's women at my gym stronger than that guy, stuff like that.
Yeah, what would Louis Simmons say about that guy? Well, Mark Rippleton, what's the quote I sent you?
I don't know.
A man weighs no less than 200 pounds.
Oh yeah. I'm under 200 now. I gotta bulk up, man.
You're
was
looking
there.
thicker now, dude.
I was there though.
From when I started here, you're a little scrawnier back then.
No, I
You're
think
still relatively lean.
I fluctuate. I think
Yeah.
this past
So it doesn't have anything to
summer,
do with me.
before the summer, I was like running twice a week, some
Oh
hills.
yeah. And walking
And I
probably a little
dropped
more
like
too, right?
walking a lot more, but I was down like low, like almost back to high school weight levels.
160?
No, in the 70s.
Oh, you're yoked in high school, bro.
No,
What are you at now? 190?
Probably close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm
Like
plus
if you went
10.
to Daddy's place right now, you could get into like a close of like 192 to 195.
Yeah, for sure. And wash it down with some smoothie or something.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely been. You started doing shakes here. Have you felt any differences? You started doing that?
No, because I was eating.
Not selling them, just yourself taking them.
No, I just want to get some calories in that aren't nuts and an epic bar. So I'd never bring a breakfast. And I was like, yeah, I got hard-boiled eggs at the house, but I never bring them. So this Ninja thing, $38, it's a good buy.
No, they're solid.
Yeah, so
I have the other version, but
coconut milk, banana, peanut butter, a hefty scoop of peanut butter, and
Too
whatever, some sort of protein powder, whatever I
was it
got.
30 grams?
I don't even know. I don't even care.
Just calories.
I don't even track it. I just sprinkle it in there. And
You drink one a day? 2?
if I'm working the full day, I might get 2 in.
Yeah.
So 1 full banana every day.
What's wrong with that?
I'm talking to LJ, man.
Oh, about fructose?
Too much fructose. Yeah, I don't know.
You're
Do I
not
feel
keto,
better?
dude.
No, I feel all right.
Yeah.
Feeling good. Get 2
I
good
don't really
meals
eat
in.
fruit anymore. Well, I eat berries and shit sometimes.
I've been eating some apples just because Emmy's been digging in apple, and I think so.
I think apples are good to eat this time of year, though. Aren't you supposed to eat fruit while it's in season?
I guess.
I feel like rotationally, that's like the concept of like part of like how
it's
we
almost
develop.
like getting into some potatoes.
Yeah, bro. I started eating potatoes. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling strong too.
You can see a difference.
All right, go back. We're getting
You
sidetracked.
can really
Let's
see
go.
a difference in your training.
Let's go.
Education. Let's go here.
No, let's go into the goals of the high school kids. We're talking about
Dave.
strength standards.
Bam. Mistakes, new lifters.
If we're talking about goals and stuff, shouldn't we talk about the kids?
Sure. FTC for the kid, or FTK.
Yeah, let's go.
For the kids. All right, so this is super basic, right? Dan John, again, shout out. We got another one coming at you, too.
Kids, keep it
with
simple,
another
stupid.
book down here. Basically had these standards. So coached some high school sports for a while. You see these numbers and you're like, this is not anything
impressive,
spectacular. But the goal would be to get 75% of your team to hit these numbers, right? A high school kid, there's high school kids doing 300 some pounds. If you could get them to 205, say in a clean, a bench, and a front squat, like you want your whole varsity team to be able to do that. That's kind of the goal. Or more than that, probably the top guys off the bench too. Deadlift 315. You know, it's like, if you can't, I don't remember what I sent you, but anyway, it's like, you can't deadlift 315 as a high school kid. You know, you might not want to be doing some more advanced stuff. You probably want to kind of get your strength up and kind of master that thing.
Yeah.
Back squat 255. Personally, don't do a lot of back squatting with people just for safety reasons. Maybe the safety squat bar. It's not a safety thing. It's just a technique thing too, where I think you end up getting quarter squats more with back squats. And when you had like 30
I've seen
kids,
some quarter front squats too.
yeah, which is interesting. Usually the bar forces them down. One arm bench press. This is a tough mark for kids, I think. 70 pounds, 5 on the right, 5 on the left.
I'll tell you the truth, out of that whole list, I think that's the hardest one out of all those for
that was
kids
the
to
one.
hit.
That was the one that would probably be that would be the hardest because you could get the 180 pound, super athlete to hit 205 on a clean.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. Clean and jerk didn't do that much. The kids could push press it, whatever. But yeah, if you could do 165, that's pretty easy, I think. The girls, power clean bench press, front squat 95 pounds, deadlift 205, back squat 135, military press 75, one arm bench 25 pounds, 5 right, 5 left, power clean and jerk 75 pounds. Now,
That's a soft press.
Which part?
One arm press.
Yeah, I mean, some of the girls could kind of come in and do that right away.
Right now.
Others are
It's never trained.
Yeah, but some also are like maybe going to be
Have to struggle to get there.
Division I athlete as well.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
What, like less than
They could
1% of the
hit
kids
these.
that go in that team, though?
True. Well, yeah, I don't know why I said that, for example. Some of them play at a high level, but can't hit these numbers, so it's kind of surprising in a sense where it's like, I guess on one end of the spectrum you could say, like, is it even important then? Or how better could they be if they were able to, like...
Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, obviously I feel like I know what you would say, but...
They would do better.
Yeah. Then there's like the injury prevention stuff too, the side of it where like...
For sure.
Yeah.
Stay on the field. I think that's where strength gets overlooked a lot too, as an injury
What's that
prevention.
line? The number one ability is availability.
Availability,
Dependability.
Yeah. That's real.
Being able to get on the field and be there and not have issues at all. You want to look at that and no, I mean... I guess for a grown...
I like this. I mean, you can't have them be... I mean, some people will just never be that strong. So, like, the concept to get a high percentage of your team doing those numbers, I feel like is a genius idea. But that goes back to your goals thing, too, right? Like, if you make the goals outstanding, like, some of those kids would probably just feel weak pieces of POSs all
like
the
this
time.
is like varsity. Like, this is varsity level. So, it's like if you see yourself as a varsity player, maybe we should get our strength up to these levels or something. I think that was kind of the approach.
Do most kids would hit these, though, with, like, 2 years of lifting?
20-something kids, I say, would the front
Like their
squat piece
sophomore
of
year.
cake. I mean, we had 20 kids probably get the clean at least, which small school. I don't know. You got 40 kids on a team. Half the team's able to clean over 200.
That's the one I would prioritize the most, though. Anyway,
We had double-digit
Like, if they're
kids get 225, and I mean, I'm no Olympic lifting coach, but I was like, that's pretty damn good for a quarter of the team could do that. Like cool.
I would say that's good.
And we didn't really push.
What do you
it
think
too
the most important one out of this list is? Would you say it's the clean too?
I like that, yeah, but because some kids could just deadlift. Like, we had a kid that was huge and 555, just pull it off the ground with awful technique just because he was huge and strong.
Yeah.
Some of the best deadlifters, I don't know if they're the best players, but some of the best players
Could potentially have been really good deadlifters too.
Yeah. I like the front squat. I like the clean.
Why do you like the front squat? You love the front squat.
Hard. It's really hard, and
so anything that's that hard,
I
you
think
think
it
you should get good
supports,
at?
and it supports the clean, I think too.
So
I don't know.
specificity to Olympic
I feel like
lifting.
there's a functional aspect to the front squat, just because you got the bar up front, you got to keep everything braced, and
It's harder for sure.
yeah,
It tries to dump you.
And then if you
It
deadlift,
probably requires some like more mobility and stuff too, like shoulder lats, triceps. It's good to have that mobility.
so kids that want to do
And
this
if you
thing,
start
I'd
kids
never let
young,
them
yeah, I
do
don't want to do that either. But like if you start a kid young at it, that's something, and they keep front squatting, it's something they'll never lose. Whereas if you don't introduce it to them until they're 22 years old, it might be an issue of where they need like straps or something to hold because they really can't hold the bar there
Even
because
high
they
school
develop
kids.
muscle mass, you know.
high school kids, the first couple years were just
Front squats are
light.
probably more anterior chain loaded too, so
I feel that, yeah,
like your core has to function. I mean,
I like it.
it's just harder.
Functional.
Yeah, functional, bro. You want to talk about the standards we found on the internet the other day? Who was in here talking about bench press? We're talking about world records. We're talking about, remember the Vanilla Gorilla and the geared lifters and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Benching in bench shirts? I don't remember who that kid.
Cole?
Was it Cole?
He
Oh, it
was
was Cole,
asking,
yeah.
yeah.
So the average lifts, the big three for the average people that are untrained males over the age of 20, average 200 pounds.
That was bad.
Just super bad.
Weak.
Super weak. But you would think just from manual labor, those people would hit better numbers than that. But I guess some people don't do manual labor either.
I don't think it's those people that are getting tested. I think it's like that.
Bench press was what, 125?
Maybe.
No. Bench was higher than this back squat, remember? So bench press was 135. Back squat was 115, which is like dismal. And then the deadlift was not that much more. What, like 165?
Yeah.
And it was a big study. Like it wasn't like a small sample size.
Those are very weak people.
Yeah, but like they're not prepared for life, man.
I don't understand.
Those dudes are the dudes that get banged up, like hurt real easily.
If they squat that much, like they probably weren't able to get into a full squat, don't you think? Like they probably can't.
Or like drop it like it's hot.
No, just even 90 degrees.
Like to sit in there.
Joel Seedman style 90 degrees. Like
It would be hard for them to do.
I think so.
Do you think it's a movement capacity though? That's what limited the weight.
I don't know. It matters though. You know, so like even if it is that, like that counts.
Yeah.
We want to throw belts on them and whatnot, and like, so like if they can't support the weight at all, or like have the mobility to get into it,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like there was that thing about.
Do you think the biggest thing was hit in depth though, or you think it was? I mean, back squat they probably couldn't even stabilize under that bar, right? Like trying to back it out, I would assume it would even get
think it would be an
dicey,
issue.
dude. Like it would.
What do you think those warm-up sets look like?
Whew. Probably Ugg McGuggerson
What do you think they did?
to warm them up.
5 sets?
I bet we can go
45,
back and look at some of
65,
those, but
85.
I bet the warm up was very movement specific. I don't think. If you got someone untrained, I would just warm them up on the bar so they can kind of like learn how to do
dangerous
it as
is
they
that?
go.
Hey, let's get a study of people that never worked out and.
It's probably not as dangerous as you think, bro.
Really? Putting bars on people's backs?
Someone's
Like,
I
stuff
mean,
like that, probably?
Nah, I doubt it. They probably scrap it at like technical failure. Like if someone gets under a bar that looks like
Was
they're
it
gonna
an
kill
adjusted-
themselves, I don't think they'll let them go on.
Do you think
It's a
it-
science-based study.
Do you think it was a adjusted max or legit 1 rep max? Like you think they
If I
did,
had
like-
to guess, it would probably be adjusted. What do you think?
I think so, for safety reasons maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We gotta look
Banging
at
a heavy single. We'll look at it again. But I thought that was interesting. I would
So
like to
those
see that. I
numbers-
wonder what the female standard
Those
is.
numbers were incredibly low compared to
yeah.
this high school. In
Keith-
our opinion, this is like a basic something to structure your plan kind of according to these weights. Say like, hey, let's try to
This
get
is
everybody
like
up
normal
here.
adults should be able to do this too, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a normal guy that
Minus the clean
Started
set, just 'cause,
training.
like that's not super important. But a guy, hey, let's get you up to 205 on a bench. That's
like, you
that's
should be
nothing
able to.
unreasonable.
Yeah, you should be able to deadlift. And probably more than 2.
Which
But say a normal person though off the street,
That's
like
1.5
if you
body
get
weight.
if you got someone to these numbers as an adult
Pretty solid.
that's not really into lifting, that's solid, and I think you really changed their life.
which is what you do every day.
Just yours, bro. Just yours.
Changing lives. 1.5 times body weight. Right, that's good for that deadlift.
Yeah.
Right, 300. I mean, the average person, I don't even know if they do they weigh 200. The average guy, who's that?
The guy in that
I guess
study.
so. Jesus Christ, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're almost 200, dude. And you're 5'6",
8, 7, 5'7".
5'8".
No, I'm not 5'8". with shoes on, maybe.
Yeah, boots.
Work boots, yeah. 2-inch, with a 2-inch lift.
All right.
Throw that.
So I'd say this is dope. This is a necessary tool. I think it's very helpful, right? Like to have a standard like that for high school teams.
Yes.
Like
if
I think
a
it's
kid
great.
could bench 255 but only front squat 145, your training is probably, the program is probably set up in a way that it's overemphasizing the bench press and not putting enough time into the other stuff. So you could use this almost as a guide to say,
Yeah, and with all these lifts, I would put bench press at the bottom of the most relevant to help a kid.
all right, we're doing
Be a
well
better athlete.
with the back squat or the deadlift, say, and all the pressing, but our power clean stinks. So maybe we're not doing
Enough
like
emphasis on that,
explosive work enough or something. I don't know.
No, yeah, totally.
Bench
Good
press
stuff.
is 100 pounds better than your front squat.
Then you
Maybe
got
need
issues.
a front squat more.
Yeah.
Jocko Willing style.
How do you get better front squat?
Yeah, front squat.
I want a front squat 300. What should I do?
Front
You
squat.
should probably front squat more, bro.
So we got to somehow tie in the parents aspect now.
Let's do it.
So we got basic standards that we've established, say, stolen from Dan John, of course. So they're not
Those are
really
modified though. I don't think that's right out of the book.
Oh, it's out of the book.
Really?
Oh yeah. I don't modify Dan John's standards. So
Why
anyway,
would you though? Think about his expertise.
So now we're going to talk about the kids then, right?
Yeah.
We're doing this FTK, man, for the kids. Parents, priorities. What do you think the focus should be? 8, 10, 12? Do you think they need to go to every quarterback camp in the area? Or do you think they need to try to improve some athletic
Capacity,
capability?
I would go with 2 more so. I'm not saying it's bad to go to those camps, but I don't think you need to go to every one. I think like you pick one, go there. You're already probably doing.
Did you ever hear of a guy named
much.
Mike Boyle?
Mike Boyle? He says not to go to any of them though, right?
Name drop. No, he said pick 1 or 2,
Oh, nice.
but then train. Like
He'd probably listen to me
work
talk.
out, yeah. Like you don't have to go to every showcase. All right, you're 11.
Parents think
Just
you do
because you're
though.
on the Scouts Inc., top 6,000 doesn't mean,
Yeah, because your team's
anything.
ranked in the state
Doesn't mean anything.
third.
and you're a backup.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So you're saying sports specific, but also, like the showcases are more college recruiting, right?
Parents see-
Whereas like the younger kids, the quarterback camps are more development based, like learning throwing mechanics,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
getting like learn drills you can work on at home and stuff
yeah,
like
but it's
that.
like look at the mechanics of guys in the NFL. Like not
None of them are
everybody's
the
picture
same.
perfect. Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes
so it's like
looks like he's throwing baseball.
yeah, and even like Russell Wilson, I think might have been.
Isn't
I
he-
don't think he pitched. Wait, was
Maybe he
Mahomes
did.
an infielder?
I thought he was a pitcher, but I could be
Well,
totally off. He could have went to the MLB. I
One of
know
those
that.
guys.
He
were
chose
like,
the NFL.
One of those guys. I think it was either one of those two where. I don't remember. But anyway, one of them was probably a middle infielder where they're catching balls and throwing at different.
Okay.
I thought it might have been Russell Wilson. So like his arm angles are like all over just because that's kind of his thing. So it's not an issue for him to have to throw a football like that.
That's interesting because he also has a height issue. So if he's throwing sidearm and has a height issue, you think he would like
I think he's
the
throwing
size
around,
of the lineman would
like
be a
throwing
big issue in
around
the
people and
NFL.
stuff.
Well, he's mobile too, though, so he's moving the pocket and
It
doing all
really
kinds
plays to
of
his
stuff.
advantage that he has the ability to throw off different platforms.
Yeah.
I think is what
No, I think you're right.
Trent Dilfer might call it, or whoever's the quarterback guru on TV now.
How did I guess he's developmentally. Like Patrick Mahomes being able to throw on the run like that accurately and have a cannon is pretty impressive.
Well, he's a high-level player, I guess.
Yeah. He's going to be the face of the NFL.
I guess, yeah. What's he, second year or third?
This would be his second year, I think.
Did he play those first year?
Huh?
Didn't he have Smith Dog? Did he sit the bench for a year or no?
I don't think so, dude. I think
They got rid of
Smith
somebody.
got Redskins. He broke his leg last year for the Redskins.
Yeah.
So Mahomes, it was
They
Mahomes'
drafted
first year was
Mahomes
last year.
last year, and then they decided.
And I think he took him to they lost to the Patriots in a skeptical, or might have been, I can't remember. Or maybe it was an overtime, it was like that kind of situation.
Tight one.
Yeah, just
Andy
the rule
Reid.
change. Like he didn't get a shot to get the ball back because
Oh,
they
that's-
maxed out the scheme or whatever. Like if it was a college thing, Mahomes would be throwing those TDs all the game.
He'll be hanging 55 on everybody.
Back to the parents thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think some is better than more. Like I think it's cool to give your child the opportunity to
Yeah.
go to things like that and to be exposed to things like that. But if they want to go to it too, that's the other big issue. Like I think a lot of kids are forced into doing all these things, and like they're just not going to keep doing it. You know, like if it's a fight every time you got to take them to a camp or an AU basketball game, like the kid should just want to do it. Like, if the kid doesn't like that, just let them do something else. Like, let them try 30,000 things until they find something they do want to go to.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, is because like it comes down to an attitude thing.
The opportunities, though, is one that some parents would say to almost rationalize it, which it's hard to argue with. Like, I didn't have this opportunity to do these things.
I want my kid to have a better life.
Which is fine, but I feel like they should try to incorporate things that'll last a lifetime, where like going to these camps, and because it's like, then what? You go to all these camps, you go to soccer, you're gonna play soccer in college, that's your goal. Then you get to college, so many people quit.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I got my goal, whatever, made it to college, now what? Now I actually have to.
And what percentage of people like goes to camp,
go to school,
camp actually get the scholarship like they wanted, or actually even goes to play?
I know.
Like, not even just quitting in college, I'm saying, but to make the next step, you know?
So
to get recruited, to get whatever, you know,
as
and
a
actually
parent,
go play.
Long term, or what we talked about in the beginning, it should be like, let's try to create some a positive relationship with working out, and like, you're not just training just so you can be a better athlete. Like, you're training because it's healthy to train, and fitness is important, and that's why you should be doing it to, like, I don't know, live a long, healthy life. Hopefully, not like be the top 3 player at the 11-year-old.
Because it goes back to, it's interesting what you said there, because I think it goes back to the other thing of most elite athletes take it like past the level of being healthy anymore, you know? So like the farther along you get on the athletic spectrum, you could argue like less of an emphasis is on health, whereas like general physical preparedness and like all the initial sports performance stuff, like it is a big focus on health.
But if you're 11, you're not going to be able to train like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning did.
Probably Tom Brady, but.
Well, sorry. Preparing for
do
football.
Some yoga. Eat some beans.
TB12. No, he's
TB12.
beans.
He's off beans? He's off legumes?
I don't think he's eating legumes, man. I have to check.
He's eating vegetables, right? No meat.
He's like on the alkaline diet.
No.
It's part of his book.
Did you hear BioLane bashing that?
No, I skimmed his book
You should read that.
at the office.
I'll send you that video. It's hilarious.
Questionable. There's no way. Well, number one, he never got to where he got to by using bands and all these other stupid exercises in his book. I doubt he does that right now. I still doubt he does it.
Once a week. Just because he wanted to make as much money as Giselle?
It'd be pointless to train that way, the way the book has some of these exercises in there. Some high school kids, when I was coaching, told me...
Wanted to start training like that?
Yes.
It'd be even worse for them than him.
He wasn't even anywhere near hitting those standards we talked about, and I'm like, oh, Tom Brady, all right, cool, yeah.
But Tom Brady was never a physical specimen, you know? Like, when you think of physical, like an athlete, think about it. Like, when you think athlete, you think like someone that's like yoked, though. Like,
some run that 40-yard
Vernon
dash.
Davis, you know? You think of stuff like that.
The Duke.
Like, Tom Brady looks like a dad, bro. Like, he doesn't look like he should be like the star quarterback.
Not a shape dad.
Look at like Cap when he was in his prime, or like Lamar Jackson. Like, it's pretty slapped together.
Slapped together. Somebody liked you that terminology last week. I think it was Eddie.
Yeah, it might have been.
All right, so we got that, man. What do you do? I don't know. Have some fun when you train. Don't go to all the freaking clinics and camps. Pick 1 or 2 that you think are cool. Move on.
And find some ones that, you know, like the coaching style fits your kids, you know, that your kid's going to benefit from that, but will want to do again and stuff, you know?
What about burpee box jumps?
Sustainability.
Do you think that should be a part of it or no? I see now.
Personally, I don't even have qualms with many exercises. A burpee box jump, with kids doing it, just seems stupid because most kids can't box jump well and they can't burpee well. So why are you burpee box jumping, right?
Sounds like a recipe.
I don't understand the burpee thing either. Throwing your body on the ground. Just do a burpee and do a push-up. Like, control your body the whole way down. Like, why are you flailing into the ground?
Belly flop style?
Yeah. And the box jump, I think, it should be used. We might talk about that, but for central nervous, like, you should learn how to like explosively use the hips, not just like
bringing the hips.
Get on the box and learn how to like you can like use it to like learn softly. But you can work on like your explosiveness without like taking all the joint impact to like jumping and even landing on the ground. Like, so I think a box jump's a great tool. Is a burpee a great tool?
For what, I guess.
For what? So I don't.
Pass.
Maybe not.
Hard pass.
I'd rather see kids rip some nice looking box jumps. Maybe slow it down and not take the conditioning aspect of it and actually try to elicit some effect that would make them a better.
Do you think parents see that?
More explosive athlete.
It's like, hey, that's where we need to train.
Well, they just think it's sexy, probably, right?
That looks tough.
Yeah, I wash.
My 9-year-old needs to do those.
but do you see many kids performing them like technically well?
No.
Like when you watch a video of a kid doing a burpee box jump, how many are you like, man, that looks good?
Somebody can't probably even do a good push-up.
Yeah, so why are they doing that exercise?
Don't know, man. We'll call them up and ask.
Where'd you see it?
You want to throw a name out there? No.
I mean, you can do whatever you want, bro.
Well, we can just say it's a CrossFit gym because there's like
3,000,000
27,000 of them in the local tri-state area. No, it's just a CrossFit gym.
But is
It's
it
like a
better than
sponsored
not
ad.
doing anything and sitting on home? Probably.
Yeah, I guess.
Like if you're gonna
get
eat
hurt.
ho-hos and watch YouTube videos.
Do you eat ho-hos?
Is it? No.
Is that, I don't even know what that is.
I think it's like a tasty cake type thing.
Oh, dude.
I used to eat the
Sounds
cupcakes with
good.
the filling in them. The
Yeah,
chocolate
tasty
ones. Those
cakes.
are good, dude.
Tasty cake, something?
I can't remember the name, but they were
Hostess?
delicious.
Maybe made
I
something?
never liked Twinkies either. They're gross, dude.
All right, so parents, take care of your kids, maybe.
Yeah.
Don't make them
What
do
if-
shit
yeah.
they don't want to do.
Yeah. And maybe not so be so like. Do you think a lot of time? You think it's you got to meet in the middle. You're either. I think a lot of times people are either too rigid or too lax. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like meet in the middle. Like
But then what about this combo, playing time versus riding the bench? We
Playing
talked about
time.
this. This is almost a transition. So a lot of kids, or parents, whatever, let's get my kid playing up. Let's get him playing with this tougher team, whatever. But then, hey, let's get my 8th grader. He's going to play freshman basketball next year. This is an example that happens locally. So 8th graders playing freshmen. All the freshmen are playing JV. Every team sucks because they're young and whatever. So it's like they're losing. Some kids only play a half on JV. If you're a freshman, you need time on the court, right?
yeah,
So sitting the
It's the only
bench
way it's
in
gonna
that
make you better.
situation is terrible. So it's like, now let's say it's a club team.
just stalling your progress.
Like, what do you think is best if somebody plays soccer and they just sit the bench and they're 10 and you know what, the parent is just like, hey guys, we're actually going to just leave this team and just go play somewhere else. So you're going to quit a team, which is interesting because that maybe could affect a child's psyche. Like, there's that thing
About falling through with stuff.
don't you ever quit, which I think is weird that there's such an emphasis on that but not an emphasis on other stuff.
You're right though.
I'll tell you one thing, we're not quitters, but you could go and throw rocks at cars, but you're never going to quit.
Never quit throwing rocks at cars, son.
Yeah, I told you not to be a quitter. But anyway, so riding the bench or playing time, what do you think's more important?
I don't
Obviously,
think
it's
riding a
circumstantial.
bench is going to develop a kid. So if they're playing on a less quality team, but getting more playing time, I think long term that's going to develop the kid more. There's no simulating a game and practice, I guess is the one argument you said, right? So like they're
No,
saying
you
the
get-
kid will get better by practicing with these
So
better
you get-
kids.
you get better
but they're just
coaching.
different animals.
So that Malcolm Gladwell book, he talked about hockey. The older kids that are more mature, they're better than the other kids their age because they're 10 months older. So they're making the advanced team, they're getting better coaching, playing against better competition. There's like 2 months of the year that like 40 to 60% of the NHL are born in like this stretch. And that age range is like the old kids, the kids that were always the oldest on the team
Yeah.
based off of their birth date or birth year. So that's the only thing that I guess could make it tricky in the sense that if you do talk about that, it's like, well, they're getting better coaching, but are they practicing? Like, are they actually practicing, or is it like, hey, we're going to practice once a week and then play 3 games on the weekend?
Yeah, what's the emphasis of the coach anyway? Is he going to
So-
put his emphasis on the kids that aren't doing that well, or is he going to put his emphasis on the kids that are starting
Exactly.
and getting more playing time?
So are
the
they
kid,
getting coaches
just because the
better?
coach is better, is that kid sitting the bench that is just a body in a soccer drill? Is he getting the same coaching as
He's a dummy potentially.
as,
Like with
as
football.
Christopher Fluck, star forward, smoking kids? Like that kid's going to get the specialized treatment.
Smoking them.
Smoking them. You're fast, bro.
So,
I've seen you run.
like, we've had a coach that would just have kids be bag holders at football.
Yeah, how's that kid getting better though?
It's not. So there's parents that I actually just disagreed with because they were like, no, we want him to play on that team, the more advanced team. And I'm like, huh, interesting. I took a little poll, an indirect poll.
Is it?
without
It's pretty
anybody
common.
knowing. Yeah, a couple. And just like 3 or 4.
Would you say
It's not a lot.
50% though, or
Wait, no, all of
Less.
them were like, oh, play on the better team.
a lot of them said that?
Yeah, but I only talked to 3 or 4.
We could do a poll on Facebook or Instagram Live or your Instagram story. Throw one up.
Okay, I don't know how to do that. Take a look out for that in the
I'll
next
show you
couple
that.
days.
I'll throw it up on mine,
Yeah.
and then I'll tag him and he can share it so you guys can answer his too.
I'll just repost Frank's stuff. I'll do the dirty work. So I agree with you. I think it's playing time. It's like all those skills that you practice, you have to practice them in games, right? I mean, that's the whole name of the
game speed.
Because kids aren't playing, street basketball anymore, so they don't have time to like relax and have fun and try different moves out. It's like, when are they gonna try these moves?
It's all
game time.
Yeah, yeah.
Never ride the pine. I would never recommend it. Some of those big kids I had a couple years ago, the 6'7" dudes, that was their issue. Where one would play in the first half of a JV game when they were freshmen, and one of the kids only played for like 2 years. I'm like, he could play every minute on freshman, and kind of learn and
get better at basketball.
Game, figure the game out. 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
The whole whole thing. It's like, get some reps.
Yeah. Get
some reps. That's it. I guess that's the moral of the story.
It's mic drop. Bam. I agree though. I agree with you.
Get your reps.
I agree with everything you said.
Bam.
If you want the kid to actually get better, he's not gonna get better riding the pine, bro.
No, can't do it. Do you care to talk about football or thickness? Basically, here's the deal. You want to talk about juggernaut?
That goes along with thickness.
Because
I like when people say thick with like multiple C's though.
That's all you.
TH, Trump.
So we broke it down here.
Thick.
Frank and I have been following this program, allegedly following the program.
Kinda.
We got it all wrong. There was a key point, not we.
So the story
I just sent
is,
a chart.
Chris sent me the chart. Somehow I'm wrong because he didn't give me all the information.
Yeah, I didn't. I must have glanced over that part of it. All right, so, I mean, this is basically the book, right? I mean, you want to go? Should I dive into this stuff? I got some notes here, man.
Yeah, I think. Maybe we get some people doing it.
Well, it talks about, too, just training
maybe
athletes.
Maybe not all of it, but
training athletes.
The key points.
Because there's a big football part of this, too, where it's like, there are a few things I'll overcome now, sprint. So basically, it's just like all the world's strongest, the fastest athletes. The fastest athletes, they all train differently. Some of them front squats, some back squats, some power clean. Some don't. Some do and some don't, basically. And while the differences exist, there are a few things they all have in common. Pretty much every sport, you're going to sprint, jump, throw, and lift something. Like those aspects are probably involved in it. So, they train the jumps, they train the sprinting, they train the throws. They'll do some sub-maximal stuff where lighter percentages, where they're not always just cranking out,
heavy
95% of their max, heavy deadlifting, heavy squatting all the time. The throws, the jumps, those two things they could use. So the jumps, would say they come at, you could develop some explosive strength at a less of a cost, say, of sprinting all the time, where that's just pounding your body and pounding your whole central nervous system. So you could do this. You could still train that explosive stuff with a little bit less damage, less cost physiologically. The throws, so Olympic
lifts. It's a thin
lifts.
line too,
I think you're doing both, but you just got to be smart and not hammer too much.
Because you want the exposure to sprinting too, because your connective tissue and stuff will respond to that too. You just don't want to pass that.
Well, that's it.
Where it becomes an issue.
Sprint. It's just a huge stimulus you get sprinting, so it's it has to be a part of the training. You have to do it. The throws, if you don't want to mess around with the Olympic lifts, you could just get explosive. And some people would kind of swear by it. I think that dude,
I think it might be better.
I don't even know. I'm pretty sure I heard him on a podcast where he's just like, "Hey, we just chuck medicine balls."
Yeah.
So.
But you're still working on the same things, right? So you're working on triple extension and being explosive. And it's probably way safer if you have a bigger group of athletes. It's easier to teach. And if you have limited time with those athletes, that's probably better to get better at that than to waste time trying to learn how to do Olympic lifting, right?
Because it's a sport in itself, too. And it's like, hey, let's try to get better at football, but we play soccer. So it's like, nobody would do that. So to think of Olympic lifting as a sport on its own, because it is, you might not need that or want that.
Yeah.
What if you got 6 weeks and you got a bunch of girls in here that never worked out ever, or guys that never worked out ever, and it's like they're 10, 11, 12. It's like, we're going to spend 3 weeks teaching a jump shrug.
Just rip some
jumps,
broad tosses,
throws,
box jumps, and
dumbbell squat jumps, maybe dumbbell snatching, something like that, maybe. But
what do you call that? The one you've been doing, the overspeed jump?
Oh, just an assisted thing.
Assisted jumps?
Yeah. French contrast training.
Nice.
I think is what it is.
Sick name.
Shout out to Cal Dietz, triphasic training.
This is the first time Chris has ever admitted that one of these things comes from a different country.
Yeah. I do like what the Bulgarians were up to back in the 70s. Steroids and lifting 3 times a day, heavy.
Plenty of rest.
27 lifts a week, I think, is what they did. The whole point of the juggernaut, focus on the big lifts, have good technique, and make small improvements each section. Now, we talked about the central nervous system, legendary sprint coach. So Charlie Francis, he is known because he trained Ben Johnson, the guy that they took the gold medal
Canadian?
from in '88. Yeah, gave it to Carl Lewis. Meanwhile, Carl Lewis was also doping. That's a word on the street. Anyway, Charlie Francis, greatest of all time.
Call him up.
I've been thinking about calling the Olympic.
You think you can get him on the podcast? That'd be sick.
Who, Charlie?
Carl.
Oh. Yeah, I could get him. So say Francis is dead. So I could get Carl Lewis, no doubt. He likened the central nervous system to a cup, explaining how a cup's capacity is finite. Everything the athlete does or person will fill that cup up to some degree. High intensity stressors, maximal lifting, sprinting, max effort, throws, jumps, whatever. Those things fill up most of the cup. An athlete needs to fill up their cup with what is the most important. Sports practice and its accompanying drills and all the physical preparation tasks need to complement that. If the cup overflows, the athlete is overtrained, which is a long and arduous process to recover from. So it's like keep that cup in mind. Everything that you do has to go in that cup. Be smart with it. You can't just keep grinding away and doing these sprints 3 days a week, heavy lifts all the time, and then practice on top of it. Might not be the best. Juggernaut comes into 4 waves. Each wave has 3 phases, so it's basically a 12-week program, 4 waves, 3 phases in each wave, 12 sessions. You hit the big lifts, basically. I'm only doing it with the front squat now. Pretty much, I did it with the other lifts, too, in the past, the bench.
The other one you didn't was military, right?
It was just, I don't know. I mean, it was just hard. I had to take long breaks in some of the early sets. So the first part of it's just the first wave in the first session, the first phase in each wave, I guess. The first phase in each wave, so workout 1 in each wave is an accumulation phase. But then towards the end of that, you're doing, so phase 3 of wave 1, you have an AMRAP, as many reps as possible at a weight.
And that's called realization?
I think so. What we had
accumulation.
Yeah, accumulation is the first one. Intensification, where the intensity goes up, the volume comes down, is the second one. Realization is where your gains come in fruition.
See what you got.
That's what he said. As many reps as possible. This is where we made the mistake. You're supposed to adjust your max after each AMRAP situation. Frank and I have been hammering away at this program, but we've been missing the key element to it.
Imagine how the gains we left on the table.
I know,
a
lot of gains. The calculation is crazy. I'm not even going to talk about it. But anyway, your working max should adjust. So if you start wave 1, which is 10 reps primarily, it's the 10s wave. Let's say it's 300 pounds, but you do your as many reps as possible thing. You do the formula, and it takes it up to 310. So then when you go into the next wave, which is the 8 reps, you should have an adjusted max for it. We didn't do that part. We never adjusted.
But it kind of makes sense because when we were doing it, it seemed like our AM reps were getting way too many reps.
Yeah. So
if it's
during the
it's
5s,
pure, yeah.
I just got 8 reps. Not easy, but during the 5s thing, I got 8 reps, and it was okay.
But I think logically from a linear periodization thing, with adjusted max on the waves of 5, we'll probably get closer to 5, or the waves of 3 will be closer to 3.
It might not even get 5.
Probably not.
If that weight was
Jacks up
290
too
for
much.
me,
Yeah.
I had to get 5. I don't know. That would have been a battle. So yeah, the other part of this too that we didn't get is the inverted juggernaut method. So let's just say
this had me happy, bro.
This is right in the wheelhouse. Another key aspect I didn't follow is the deload week, so I made at least 3 major errors.
Do the deload first. When are you supposed to do that?
At the end of each wave.
What?
Sorry, no, that can't be right.
So every 4th week you take off?
No, you can't.
After the whole 12-week cycle, take a week off and then go back into it.
Yeah, I believe so. But I think I could probably try to
find
that
maybe
too.
we just don't rest enough and we'd be super strong if we deload every 4th week.
Yeah, because maybe you need...
They say every 4 to whatever. Or no, every 2 to 3 months.
So I'm trying to
Just
find
a
this quick.
recommendation.
It just has, it just has info on the deload week, but I assume that it was at the end of the 12
full
weeks.
cycle.
Yeah, the 12
I
week
would think
thing.
so. Because if not, you're not even getting that many training days now.
So I would just kind of take maybe some time off or just reboot. Take 4 or 5 days off.
Can you still lift, just not lift heavy?
Yeah, it just says 50%.
Or rip some kettlebells around?
So it's if you
Do some
normally do
strongman
50
training?
total reps of chin-ups during your training waves, do 25.
Yeah.
For the accessory stuff. And then he wants you at 40, 50, 60% of your max,
For
5
lifts.
reps.
So you can still lift. That's cool.
Yeah, and then accessories are at 50%. So just kind of get some blood pumping. So
Chase the pump.
10 reps, say it's the first wave. The first workout's the toughest. It's 5 sets, 10 reps each. One thing that I didn't know,
Tough for us.
that I didn't realize is that, because I didn't look at my notes in about 3 years, is that you could invert that and do 10 sets of 5 reps, which is totally in my wheelhouse. The only stipulation is you got to do it with 60 seconds rest, which would make it tough.
You'd still get crushed. I would still invert it though and not even do the 60 seconds.
I think,
I don't think you have to
I don't think I
stick
would
to
follow
that.
the rules. Rules are made to be broken, some say. And
But how much, dude? That's just so much better.
10 sets of 5 at 60% of your max
Versus 5
is
sets
a
of
lot
10
better than
is
5
a lot
sets of
better.
10. Military press, I literally was at such a light weight, but like I had to take like 6-minute breaks because my shoulders were so fatigued doing 10s. I think doing 10 sets of 5, a lot more reasonable.
More obtainable for sure.
And for all the dudes.
And just who wants to do 10 reps, bro?
So basically, too, like you
I
do
hate
10,
doing high reps.
3 weeks of 10 reps roughly, 3 weeks of 8s, 3 weeks of 5s, 3 weeks of 3. He also recommended that you could do this undulated model where you do your 10s first, then you do the 5s during the second phase, then you do the 8s, and then you do the 3s.
That'd be interesting to try too.
He said that's for all those people that think they're going too long in between lifting heavy. So all like the meatheads that want to lift heavy.
Just to please them?
Yeah, basically. I don't think he uses that. He uses the inverted juggernaut, which I love that name. The inverted juggernaut.
I'm trying that. I got to finish the cycle, but then I'm going to try that next.
Yeah, me too. I got 3 weeks, and then I'm going to go right into
You're
that.
just front squatting? You ever going to add more lifts back into the juggernaut percentages?
No, because I'm using the deadlift for something else, the contrast training, and
And you don't press anything except
one-arm
kettlebells.
presses. Heavy. Singles.
You could do
got some doubles.
weighted pull-ups or something on this, right?
With percentages, I guess.
No? Why
Yeah,
not?
no, you could.
I mean, you could, right?
So what would you do? Just take your
Wiggle
body
room.
weight plus the weight you put on yourself?
Yeah.
Or,
Oh, that's what I was thinking, but
yeah. Because if you just do, I guess you'd have to, right? But then you're strapping on like a 10-pounder potentially for some people for 10 reps. Inverted.
what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Getting some extra work in.
Yeah, I think if we're going to be completely honest, it's going to be 10 sets of 5 from now on, bro.
Anyway, it's a good program. We talked about it maybe every other podcast, I would say.
Yeah, not
But
in
at
depth
least
like this, though.
no.
I think it's good for people to get exposed to it because maybe they'll want to try it.
And
This is my other thing we were talking about, to go back to the beginning when we were talking about people screwing up in the beginning. I think people not emphasizing strength and getting stronger in all these movements. So, like, this is would be a great place for someone to start. Like, to get on this and really get good at 3 or 4 lifts.
Yeah.
And just follow these freaking percentages and,
because you
do
get
it.
50 reps at a pretty challenging weight. And that's like it's like everything we just said about getting reps in on freaking the kids getting reps. Like you need reps in the weight room. The accumulation phase is just practice, and it's like building up. It's preparing your body for more intense stuff later on.
And it's controlled progressive overload.
Where people
Because I think
don't do
people
that.
stay at the same weight for a year and can't gain muscle or do anything. It's because you're not actually getting a stimulus. So like this percentage is like controlling the variable of intensity for new people, or for us too. But for new people, I think would accelerate their plan to success.
I think so. I mean, we've been working out for a while, and it doesn't not work.
Yeah.
Like the weights always go up, and you get more reps. Like,
Yeah. It's good.
Eventually, that'll come to an end, I assume, but
Maybe.
it hasn't. It's been a couple months. But we'll see. Maybe in a year from now, I'll be a freaking front
Superman.
squat record holder.
That'd be sick.
So going back to,
Get on that Carl
I
Lewis,
guess if you
buddy, man.
were an athlete, call up
Or
Carl Lewis.
who was the other one? Ben Smith.
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson.
He was jacked,
Oh, Ben
man.
Smith. You know that dude?
Smitty? I don't know. I don't know.
The CrossFit guy? I think
No.
he won like 1 year. He was like a elite baseball player in college.
No, I don't know him at all. I haven't watched the games in a while. Since Rich Froning was winning back in 2013, maybe.
He's
Sprints.
still winning team challenges.
If you want to sprint. So this is kind of geared towards athletes, I think. Well, I guess one thing, too. We talked about the Olympic lifts before. He does have a program for that, too. But in his mind, the Olympic lifts only develop power in a vertical plane where medicine balls can be done horizontal, vertical, and rotational. So that's why he just thought the medicine ball throws could be superior. General population, high school athletes might be best.
Oh, yeah.
That kid goes to college. That college might require some Olympic lifts, so
So you need some exposure to that as well.
probably, right? But looking at recovery between sprints, he's thinking 30-second rest for every 10 meters you run.
So you run 100.
And I just heard a track coach say he's limiting his volume. I don't think he ever does more than, it was something ridiculously low. Like one of these best guys at Boo, like Schnex, I don't even remember his last name because it's so long and crazy. There's an X in there. His name's Boo to begin with. But I thought he said like 500 or 750 meters he limits his training to. So if they're doing sprints and he doesn't run past 50, he doesn't run past 50 meters ever with 100-meter athletes.
But it's this idea that the decay would just be too much and you're training, not training in the right spot.
Yeah.
Like, why train slow?
Yeah.
You know? If you're doing too much volume, I would assume at some point you would be sprinting slower. So maybe that's just not conducive to getting faster.
No, I think it's totally it.
Yeah.
But to think a 10-meter run, I don't know, is that even a second for the world-class guys?
No.
Yeah, so for every 10 meters, you're taking 30-second break. So for some people, that's like makes no sense.
So you would get that.
You run 40 meters,
You'd be done pretty fast.
5 seconds, and it wants you to take, a 2-minute break. 40 minutes, and then you're doing.
What are you doing between?
You rest.
I'd have to bring a book out there.
I know, seriously. So
We used to run a ton of 10s in high school.
then they said, yeah, no, but it was.
But that was more specific because I was probably only going to run 10 yards or whatever.
And then it's like, turn around.
Yeah.
We're going again. And I was like, no, there's no rest involved. No.
But there's more conditioning.
There's more to conditioning than just making somebody puke. Obviously,
Yeah.
Some people know that. He has this other quote here that I liked. I think I put this online. It was like, every time you or your athletes run the gas or does countless burpees or pushes a prowler until your legs are wobbling and you're vomiting, you aren't developing mental toughness or getting in shape. You are ruining your short and long-term abilities to develop speed, maximal strength, and explosive power. I think it's exactly right.
That's a better mic drop than the one you dropped it on earlier, bro. Throw it down.
What was the last one? I don't even remember.
I can't even remember either, but that was.
Getting reps.
I like that. I like that.
And also too with their conditioning stuff, he's like, there's a reason why Usain Bolt is not the world's best 800-meter runner, and it's the same reason that David Rudisha, not sure who that is, 800-meter record holder. Shout out to Dave. Isn't the best 100-meter runner. One cannot develop competing energy systems to maximal levels. Not possible. There's a little quote about you can't ride 2 horses. You only have one ass, something like that. Something about not being able to ride 2 horses at the same time. You got to pick one. You got to pick one, bro.
Bioenergetics, though.
Let's hear it.
Wait, 100, 200, and then what was the other one? 800.
And what? What
were the races?
Both
so
the 100 and the
Hussein
200.
is the fastest man alive in the 100 and the 200.
But he won't be the fastest in the 800-meter.
No.
And this guy, David Rudisha?
Not even the 400, right?
I doubt it. He's probably been on a 4x4, I think. Don't you think he ran a relay at some point?
I mean, when he's young.
Yeah. But he might
because his 9 medals weren't in that. They were in the 1, the 2, and the 1 and 2.
4x1, right?
4, yeah, relay.
They probably got taken from him by now. Somebody was juicing on that team.
Oh, yeah, he's only got 8. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're actually right.
He'll get a couple
It's
more.
just so ridiculous, though.
And then lastly, this might be the mic drop situation here. You're much better off slightly reducing your weights and dominating each session than going for broke here and grinding through reps. So maybe we didn't have it wrong with not adjusting our max. Maybe we're just dominating each session and not going for broke any real day.
Well, we were talking about this too. What if the way
we were so
doing
happy
it is
about
better? Like,
we were so happy that hey.
Maybe that's why we're more yoked now, though.
Remember that quote
But
I
not
said to you,
stronger.
and then you said to me, was like, it's only one set, like the AMRAPs.
Yeah.
Like we only really had one hard set that day, so it's like, it's not that bad.
It's not at
Because
all.
our max is reasonable.
You gotta get kind of a little bit amped up one time.
Yeah, and
I like the AMRAP. I hate the 5 sets
I
of
know.
10, dude.
But then there's 7 sets of 3.
I've never thought a front squat was so hard until last week.
I mean, 7 sets of 3 is. That's
that was
easy, too.
pleasant to
That's
me.
fine.
The 7 threes I was all about.
Yeah, that's easy shit right there. You want to get into any of this other stuff?
Yeah, dude, I don't care.
So last week a gym goes out.
All I want to do is eat all
business.
hefes besides this.
Again, hefes today?
If we go, yeah.
Wow, I didn't work out yet. I gotta get a session in. We'll see. Football, skip.
Is Corey coming back in?
Got nothing to talk about there.
Football kicking.
Kicking.
I'm saying, kickers get knocked on hardcore. And yesterday, Justin Tucker, best kicker in the game, Ravens, wins it in overtime. The Cowboys kicker hits it, but there's a false start, got backed up 5 yards. Didn't kick it, didn't get a chance to onside kick it. Kickers are more important than people think they are. I feel like they're often overlooked, but I think it's a vital part of especially if you think about playoffs, these you lose one game and you're done. Kickers are super important.
Or you miss the playoffs by one game.
Yeah.
Because your kicker sucked and cost you 3 games or something.
Yeah, which is probably pretty realistic. All right, this is my random kickers. I'm done.
No, it's not flashy.
It's just not flashy.
High school, man.
Yo, some of the kickers though now are getting yoked and strong. which is cool. Bro, but they don't get beat up either, you know? Part of the reason I think other positions, they get so jacked up, it's hard to sustain that.
Yeah, they could kick for like 18 years.
Yeah.
Terry's been at it for 20, I think.
And just smash steel, too.
You think that's what they're doing?
Some of them. Well, I mean, what's the dude for the Raiders for a long time was probably smashing vodka, but...
Sebastian Janikowski.
Yeah, that was
he
your
was
boy.
getting after the booze. He might have got deported by now. He had some issues.
Either that or owns a vodka company, bro.
And they sent his ass back to Poland. He got in trouble, dude. I swear to God, he almost got deported. I don't know. I think because he was in the NFL, they let it slide. But
That's awesome.
He did something.
Special treatment to athletes.
Education
The
versus
world's not
experience.
fair, buddy.
Education versus experience. What do you think?
What's better?
I don't know. I mean,
What are we talking about? Jobs?
we're talking about
experience
We're
for
talking
sure.
about some of these schools.
Formal
around
education
here.
is trash.
Yeah, you got to get in the game for sure.
Like you
gotta
learn
get your
more
reps
in a
up.
month of practical application than you will in 2 years of whatever.
Got to get your reps up, man.
Yeah, it goes back to the same thing we're saying with athletes.
Shit, went my cup. It is that, right? I mean, you could sit around and read all the freaking NSCA books you want.
Yeah,
but,
and it doesn't matter if you can recall. You know, it doesn't matter if you can recall every, let's say, fossa of every bone in the body for human anatomy, or it doesn't matter if you can teach this kid how to squat well. You know, and like program and like make them better. Like that's where the money is, right? Unless you're going to teach, and then I don't know. But then you still need to get experience teaching. You know, you're still not going to
you
get
be
it
able
from
to
a
work
book.
with them. Yeah, and you get better at working with kids through experience.
Yeah,
And you have to get those kids, like we talked about the standards. It's like you could read the advanced techniques, but like you could understand them, but applying them to a kid might not. It's not going to get them to a level as like getting their strength up to a point first before you want to progress with
more advanced
French
exercises.
contrast training.
Yeah,
Or some sort of post-activation potentiation
wet
stuff.
deadlifts.
Whatever that was, yeah, I'm not still
That
don't know
is,
what
didn't
that
even
is.
look it up, honestly.
But
I just don't often hear things that I've never heard of
I know it's rare.
in this. Well, obviously, just in strength conditioning related.
But the guy that I was talking to, he's
If you're talking about
works with some schools.
astrophysicists, I probably know nothing.
I was like, hey, you're still working at these schools? Like the districts, aren't they using the local hospitals that are taking over the this? I don't even know, sports performance stuff. They're starting to send people to schools all over. Talked to Jason Brader about this stuff, and he was like, you know what, these schools, they can do whatever they want. These guys, they don't have experience there. And even if they do have some experience, you know, they're just, you know, can you really have 50 good coaches that you could send to every school in the area? Probably not. So for some of these schools to still hire out and use him, it's good. So whatever.
So he still does work with high school schools, even though
Yeah,
he's doing the
too.
Albright thing?
No, this was Obe.
This was okay.
Yeah. That he was saying that
I got you.
those schools still bring him in because they're like, we like what he does with our students.
Does a good job.
They respect him and yada yada yada, and that's who we're rolling with. So, you know, these hospitals, it does make things tough sometimes. And Brader brought up an interesting point where he was thinking, and my next podcast is actually gonna made me think of the same exact thing because it's about, you know, we got a little teaser here. Some of the
You got to break that into micro content,
And
throw it
Brady's-
out on the interwebs.
I'll maybe get Brader's message and this message wrapped into one. But it was like,
Yeah.
hey, you got these
Guess I
kids
make
now that are
videos.
in middle school and high school. St. Luke's is their strength and conditioning coach. So they got St. Luke's implanted in their head already. So it's like as they get older, they're getting exposed to St. Luke's when they're young. So when they
They
get
get the
older,
surgeries to St. Luke's.
right?
Good.
That's what Brader's thought was, that they were like, you know, they're putting their stuff everywhere.
I 100%
They're not worried about,
think that as well, though.
because like, where do you go when you're unhealthy? This was Brader's thing. You go to St. Luke's when you're unhealthy. So
Yeah.
it's like, and these are the people that are supposed to make you healthy. So like in his mind, it was like weird where they profit when you're unhealthy, but yet they want to keep you healthy.
Yeah.
He didn't think it added up. If you say it that way, it's right. It's a
But they're
little.
double dipping.
They are double dipping.
But theoretically, if they're doing a good job at keeping you healthy, they're not going to get the back end kickback.
Yeah, and it's all about the.
You know what I'm
back
saying?
end.
Like if you're preventing more kids from getting ACL injuries, you have less St. Luke's surgeons doing orthopedic
Right.
surgeries
Exactly.
if they're doing the job well.
Right.
So what do you think?
What do I think? Maybe he's looking for when they're 55. They're just planting the seed now. This is a long-term scheme St. Luke's has
Yeah.
going on, maybe.
I don't think St. Luke's is going anywhere, bro.
Do you think they're listening?
They're a monster. Yeah.
We should use fake
I
names.
hope they're listening.
We should use fake names for that.
I have St. Luke's
Just in
insurance. I
case
think it's
if they-
great.
if they come after. I'm in the health network.
You are too?
LVHN though, bro.
Oh, brah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
my care's better than yours. That sucks.
Loaded carries. Why you carry heavy stones around? We got 155.
Why do you do low carries in general, first of all?
Why do I? Why do them to I like to warm the system up.
Yeah.
I think they get the core going.
So you never really
and
do
they get
heavy.
some of the joints, like overhead stuff. You can lock out the elbow and just good for good warm.
I argue it's good core work, man. Like, I think someone's called it like a walking plank, and I think there's like some truth to that. Like, through going through the gait cycle and like stabilizing the core is like huge, like even in different loading patterns.
Got to train the core.
But the thing with the sandbags is the same thing with the stone balls. I think they're so important because if you're carrying a heavy ball on your chest, it's very hard to breathe in thoracically. So you have to learn how to interabdominally breathe and like breathe in your belly, which I think is great for kids because like you can apply that to lifting as well. So like deadlifting, squatting, and all those things is probably how you should be that breathing pattern too.
Bam.
And it's just a load on your chest. Like, it's hard. Same thing with your front squat, right? Why do you front squat? Because it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to carry balls on your chest, man.
It is fairly applicable. I tell some people if you ever have to drag somebody out of the woods, you'll be good. Bear hug them, carry them out 155. No, that's not a really good way to sell it. You got to just kind of brace.
Carrying out of the woods is 155 just woofy.
That's true. A young kid.
A man over 200 pounds.
Wolfie. You get a weight, you pick it up and you walk for a distance. Say, we were talking about taking this stone ball to a track, 400 meters. Like, I literally brought this 150 whatever pounder in from there to there.
Out of breath.
15 meters.
Hard as hell,
So
I
I
bet.
don't even think so. And it took me like a minute and a half to 2 minutes. I'm like, get my wind all the way back.
Yeah.
And I was like,
How brutal would it be if we actually did that? Like, me and you just passed back and forth for 400 meters.
I guess we'd have to take breaks.
I would assume so.
Not you. You might just rip it straight through.
Nah,
I don't
dude.
know. We should
I might
do
get
it.
like one really good one, and then after that, it'll be done.
We should do it.
I'll do it.
All right.
We should get Fiegel to come record it.
Yep, Fiegel, where you at?
Fiegel, we need some help, man. Like,
Lastly, we got the
need
loaded
some
carries in.
We need a videographer.
Do we need to talk about getting thick or no?
I think everybody should be getting thick personally, but especially in the posterior chain.
Why?
Glutes,
Why?
hamstrings, lats,
Why?
erectors,
Why?
traps, long-term health, structural integrity of joints,
Big time glutes equals long life. some might say.
metabolic rate.
Those are the big
The more
muscles.
muscle mass you build back there, probably the longer you'll sustain muscle
So I
mass
think
later
your
in life.
glutes and your lats are the big muscles in the body. I believe I read that. The lats might be number
Lats
2,
are
just based
big.
off of the size.
Yeah.
And the glutes, I thought
Glutes
were
can't be the
number
biggest
one.
though. What about the quads and the hamstrings?
I thought it was the glutes were the powerhouse, man.
They are the powerhouse, but I think that's more of how the anatomy works
But I
and
thought how they
biomechanics of
overlay
movement.
over top of each other, like it might.
Oh, you're talking about like how the sequoias are the biggest trees based on how much wood, but redwoods are the tallest?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
So you're saying because it's like stacked in layers.
So it's like, hey, it's like that whole, you get Pareto principle, 80% of your results come from 20% of the people.
Yeah.
Or like, productivity stuff, 20% of the people are producing 80% of the stuff worldwide.
There's a book on that.
If you've got if you're gonna, train, if you're trying to get the biggest bang for your buck in training, it's gotta be those muscle groups.
For sure.
It's not the biceps and the triceps. We're talking glutes and lats.
Talking about exercise selection for
Chin-ups.
newbies. Pick those ones that matter.
we're
Compound
bringing it
movements
back
over
around.
multiple. Yeah.
You looking this thing up?
Yeah, I am.
All right, perfect.
Keep
we're
talking
trying to
about
get
glutes
thick.
a while.
We got this kid, man, just coming off mono.
How
Dan John
important are glutes for extension though, like of hips? So they're important for sprinting and jumping. Like,
Yeah, we
you
gotta bring the
gotta
hips.
be working. Yeah, hip
Forward
extension like
hip
a mother
extension.
trucker.
Mass Made Simple right here. Dan John. We got
Gluteus
this kid on
maximus
the
number
program.
2.
Yeah. What's one?
This is the individual muscle because there's a quadriceps femoris.
Yeah. All right.
So it's not like muscle groups.
Quads, glutes, then lats maybe coming in, hopefully. Somewhere in there. Am I
Yeah,
just
they're
making
not,
stuff
but I
up?
don't know why that's not.
Maybe that was just pure length. So we got this kid coming off mono,
Serratus, bro.
packed on 10
It's not
pounds.
even on there. He
In
did
2
not
weeks.
already?
Yeah, he did.
What a beast.
But it was just mono. We're trying to get another 10 on, but this is only 14
Oh, because
workouts.
he lost so much through mono.
Yeah, so it doesn't
So
really.
you just got hydrated
Not really
and you're getting 7
crediting.
pounds.
Not really crediting this program yet. But if he puts on another 10 in 2 weeks, then I think it is the program.
Yeah.
We're talking about heavy pressing,
Heavy, high rep squats.
a bunch of reps in the squats, and complexes, which are the key.
He's doing complex? I haven't even seen him do this. Is
Oh,
he
yeah.
doing the whole program?
He is, yeah.
Okay.
Complexes are in there, man. But the last workout of this thing, workout 14, if you're a 200-pound male, like Frank says you need
One
to be,
set of 50 for 200 pounds or something.
225, 50 reps. Make
And you're
it
supposed to
happen.
try to do it unbroken, right?
I think yes, but not really. Like you
Like if you can't.
You can't.
So
yeah.
it'd be better off staying at that weight and doing
Tens, 5 tens again.
Yeah. But that would be better than dropping to 135 and banging one set of 50.
Yeah, that's not what you're supposed to do at all. Because then you'd be working at the lighter.
But you'd be hitting the rep ranges.
If you're 185 to 205, you're supposed to do 205
if you're weak
to
enough
50.
that that's what the weight is for 50, it's still going to crush your soul.
So you got to get your strength up, I guess, so you can hit this.
Maybe it's a more advanced program.
Probably. We're going to find out because he's going to have
What's
to
his
hit
peanut butter jelly advice? Tell him that real quick.
2 a day.
No, it's more than that, isn't it?
No, it's 2.
Oh, and he makes something at a time, though.
Fish oil, protein, and his other thing, water maybe? Those are the keys. He said more fish oil, more protein, and...
Is it fish oil just so your knees don't hurt when your high reps go out all the time?
That's that fat component, too. When in doubt, eat more protein, he says. But this is if you're on mass. If you're on the Mass Made Simple plan. This is not for everybody. All right?
This is for a very select few.
This is not the person just starting working out like we talked about earlier. All right, advice for everyone, everywhere, every time. More protein, more fiber, more fish oil. So he wants people to eat more protein. Quick way to get that stuff, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the kids. I don't eat bread, not for me. You get a little legume action in there to get your fiber.
Yeah.
You do that.
They Rich Frowning on his documentary is straight eating peanut butter and jelly without bread though, like straight scooping it out of like a tub.
Oh, cool. That's nice. Fish oil. You want to read all these or no?
Because there's carbohydrate in the jelly. Would you eat jelly?
No.
Is there jelly without sugar?
Oh,
without
I ate
like
some
processed
yesterday,
sugar?
man.
Yeah.
Apricot.
On meat?
I did that before for sure.
Yeah, that's good, dude.
It's like,
That's real good.
it's like a raspberry. Had a raspberry something too with some meats as well and some cheese.
Ooh.
I like the charcuterie.
Yeah. Tapas, small plates.
Yeah, man. I'm a small plate guy for sure. Why fish oil? Positive effects on any disease known to man, he says. Cell membrane health. Fish oils turn on lipolytic genes. They turn off lipogenic genes. Diminish C-reactive proteins. Reduce inflammation. Pain management.
Boom.
Yada, yada, yada. Serotonin levels. Cardiovascular health. Blood pressure. Great stress fighter.
Do you take fish oil?
I do, actually. Krill.
I was taking it for a long time, and then I read this thing about how like 99% of the fish oil we get is like oxidized, so it like renders it useless.
Tom Brady wouldn't take it. It's
No,
not
he
alkaline.
would be straight
He doesn't want that
sucking the
oxidative
fish,
stress in
that
his
real,
body.
real.
We got thickness taken care of or no? You want to add in on that?
No. What would you post the other day about thickness? If you're trying to get big,
Yeah, I got to
train muscles. If you're trying to get, what
What
was
is
it?
that lead voice?
Yeah,
It was
got-
basically
got some
everything we
nice stuff,
talked
though.
about. Like, I guess if you want to look good, looking good doesn't mean that you're strong either. So,
Being strong doesn't mean you're gonna look good. Although most people that
Yeah.
get strong look good,
yeah,
especially
Yeah.
people that are not exposed to it.
yeah. Relative strength. They look good.
How?
Relative to your body weight, that's what I mean. Instead of just being a big, strong dude, like the heavyweight power lifter.
Their relative strength's pretty damn good.
Does he look good?
Some of them, like their looks, are good. It's all in the eye of the honey. Like some people probably into him.
Who?
You talking about like Ray Williams?
I don't know who that is, but he sounds like a ladies' man. What's his nickname? He's got a nickname.
Get
probably.
that money.
Big Ray?
He's got to. Oh, Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah, check him out. I'll send you.
All right.
I'll send
I
you a
didn't check
video
out-
of squatting 1,000 pounds.
Anything from the last
But he's
podcast,
thick,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah. What else you got, man? Anything good?
We got any events coming up? How'd the wine thing go?
Good. Workout at a winery.
You said that's
Black
your
River
spot, right?
Farms. I think so.
Did you
It's
drink
nice.
wine?
I did, yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Ooh, let it loose a little bit. I like that.
No, I don't know. Should have doubled up on it if I wanted to let loose, I guess. But no, I did.
Your
Yeah,
tolerance
it's good.
is
The place is cool.
unhumanly high.
Unfortunately, yes. No, it's fine.
You liked it better than the beer place? They're just
Demographic.
different.
Oh, totally different.
Yeah.
The property's awesome.
2 people came in today from the wine
Oh, good.
thing. They seem to enjoy it.
9:15.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Good.
Corey killed it.
I bet. Awesome. I'll have to
But
reach
yeah, they
out.
seem like cool people.
Yeah.
How many people did you get?
12.
Hopefully a couple more of them come in.
No, I think hopefully 2 or 3. So those two, yeah, whatever. Yeah, there's a couple people that said they were in there, like, yeah, my mom wants to start, yada yada. She probably came today.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
So it's good. It's cool. It's all good, man.
I think a lot of people go just for the wine, but you get to meet people. People love booze.
A lot of people were looking forward to the workout ending.
Yeah. Oh, working out ending.
Yeah.
You know, some people that come like train, they always like talk like trash, like they hate it and all this stuff, but they keep coming.
Yeah.
Like, do you think it's just like like they don't actually hate it? It's just like something to say.
Well,
like,
it's kind of hard.
Smart ass.
So it's hard. So it's like, oh, we got to do 2 more rounds of this. Like,
Yeah.
That's like a psychologically challenging thing sometimes. But who knows, man?
To get their stuff together.
Then they got to drink wine if they wanted to all day or.
All day.
Yeah, I think that turned into somebody.
Yeah.
Something.
Chris rented out the place for the rest of the day.
Now they were packed. They were bumping. They're doing awesome. That's good. They're cool people.
Yeah.
They're nice. Yeah, I like them.
Nice.
Yeah, some big things popping in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second location.
Yeah, with 3rd and Ferry. No.
Fish.
Two
place.
Rivers.
Two
Two
Rivers.
Rivers is opening up a spot with the winery and also a liquor distillery, or still
County seat?
in the same building in Quakertown. It's
What's
like
the
an
distillery?
I don't remember.
County seat just opened another one at Silk Mill. 8 Oak, maybe?
I don't know.
No?
I'm not even going to speculate because
They're
I don't
pretty
know.
cool.
But
There's one in Allentown that has Hijinks County seat, like a small little distillery, and then like it's almost just like a tasting room. But then they have a meadery. I think people love like the one-stop shopper.
yeah,
Like they just pop around a little bit, check out everything.
get a sandwich.
Yeah,
Get a hoagie and a glass of wine.
You can eat the meat out of the middle if you're not eating bread, but
That's it, man.
Ezekiel bread.
What do you got other than Ezekiel bread? You got anything coming up?
No, we really gotta hook up with Don.
1,000
The
chin-ups,
vault, doing 1,000 pull-ups.
pull-ups.
Not a big chin-up guy lately. Not trying to get my biceps that much bigger.
Yeah.
I want to get my lats developed, bro.
Yeah.
I want to get strong as like an ox. I just want to get superhuman strong, bro.
Fair enough.
I need to get stronger for
I'm
sure.
gonna cut that clip down and
Yeah.
put that on. Put that clip on.
Pull-ups. I'm doing the jug program. Walking's cutting down. I might start doing a little more action on
Yeah, I
that
got
rower.
yoga going, man.
Oh yeah, you're doing yoga.
Yeah.
Your girl's doing yoga too.
Feeling limber.
You think that's something I would benefit from?
I don't know.
You think
it's tough.
everybody should benefit?
I only like it because I don't have to think about anything, and it's doing stuff I would never do. But my ankle's jacked up from when I fell in that groundhog hole.
Go for hole, bro. Got you.
My mobility's not there yet. I learned that. This thoracic region needs a little bit of work. There's a little bit too much rotation, a little too much back arching, hyperextension going on in yoga for my liking.
Yeah, I don't want to be in those positions.
No, and there's super.
And how long do you want to get, bro? I want to be rigid.
Super
I
trunk.
want to be strong.
Yeah, but there's a lot of trunk rotation, I think, in the lumbar spine area, and I don't think that's good either.
Yeah,
Those are two
doesn't
things
that
I
guy
avoid.
say that? Who's that? Stu McGill's is totally against that, right?
It was like, no, it was a Mike Boyle thing that was citing this, like, Saruman is the last name of, like, Shirley Saruman or something. Some, like, dense back textbook. It was like 15 degrees of lumbar rotation is all you should be doing.
Anything past that can be detrimental
Yeah.
to long-term back.
So, like, we'll lay on
Spinal
our
health.
back and you want to lift your knees up and drop to the side. Like, I don't do that. I just, like, prop up stuff so, like, my knees are, like one, I'm tight in
In
that
class, you
area.
mean?
Yeah, in class. Like, my knees are, like, here instead of, like, all the way down. I just, like, stop because I'm like, I know it's not going to
Do a lot of yoga people get back problems?
I think a lot of people aren't, yoga people don't feel as good as you think they would. They're super mobile.
Yeah, but
Like,
I guess
dude-
that's on the spectrum, right?
But like being able
Depends
to do
how-
this upward dog, like I tried it the other day, never did it. Laying on your belly, I would always just kind of push my chest up a bit and just stretch this way. But I'm like, I'll try this thing out, whatever.
So you want straight
So it's
cobra?
your toes. No, it's your toes in the ground and like your hands, so your thighs are off the ground. Super
So like
back
stretching
arch.
your abdominal muscles like crazy.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what?
Hip flexors probably.
This is dicey. I'll probably feel like shit the next day.
Did you?
Only in the afternoon. Like I did cleans in the morning and then did presses in the afternoon. And during the presses, it didn't feel good. But I feel fine now, but whatever. I like yoga. It's a challenge. Something I'm not,
Good, eh?
yeah. How flexible do I want to get? No
I'm
goal.
gonna go to a yoga class.
Just trying to loosen those hips
Inner
up.
strength.
Yeah, there you go.
Rig dogs.
Riggs dog. Rig dog.
Rig. I was gonna say, what was that? What was that? That doesn't matter.
Because it's like no walking, winter time.
Yeah, you
no
gotta find
outdoor
something
activities.
else.
That's what I'm doing. The Roost.
I'm gonna start banging out rower sprints for sure.
Chris Mo Davis,
Get in
Springtown,
shape.
6 minutes from my house.
Get yoked.
Makes going to yoga a lot easier when
lean.
there's something in your backyard. Basically.
For sure.
So,
And you don't have classes here anymore.
nah. Might bring it back, maybe not. All right, man, that's it. I think it's over. We've been rambling
It's been
for a
real.
while.
It's been fun. It's been real fun. Last mic drop.
Boom.
Caleb.